Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Mage the Ascension 20th anniversary rules by Onyx Path Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and contains adult themes. Our World of Darkness is intended for adults. Listeners should pay close attention to all listed content warnings. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your storyteller, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and I am back with another installment of the Ascension of Babylon, our Mage the Ascension Chronicle. At the top of the show, as we always like to do, I'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. Check out what we have to offer on patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. Also, stop by our YouTube channel, subscribe there if you would, and add to the myriad of voices and images you'll be seeing there on YouTube with all of our special shows. And so now I'm going to start with introductions, beginning to my right.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Kayleigh Hannah Godfrey. I'm a bounty hunter, and things are probably going to go sideways.
As if they're not already sideways. To Kayleigh's right.
This is Lecco playing Dante Maxim Vargas Bailey, he, they, putting the gig in gig economy.
100%. Time to work it. At the end of the table.
This is Jake playing Oliver Devereaux, and I think I'm really getting the hang of this now.
You know what? I'm certain that you'll be a Sertiman master in no time. And last, but most certainly not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Adam Harrison. And, I'm sure it's like a lightsaber. You can just wave it around and it works, right?
Yeah, wave it around, see if it's magical. That is the key to existence. So speaking of keys, Kayleigh, when you slot that key into your car and turn it over outside the church, you sort of already feel what a death march feels like when it comes driving over to Titus's family's place. You know that it's not going to go well. You feel that emotion inside of you. You feel like his family are going to ask a lot of the same questions. Now that you're away from the church and away from the prying social eyes of other people at the church, everything is sort of fair game. You're going to get a lot of the same questions. How long have you and Titus been together again? Are you still working as a bounty hunter? So, what kind of pets do you have again? You can hear it already. It weighs on you.
It's the same every week.
Yeah. It seems to be. So pulling up outside that house, I wonder if you would give us a narrative description of what you feel like the family's house looks like.
So it's a big house. It's probably around 3,000 square feet. It's 3 floors because there's, at the time that, especially when Titus was growing up, there were 9 people in this house, 7 kids. You need a lot of room for that many people. It's probably older in architecture style, not as early as Tudor, right? But something in between Tudor and more modern structure. They have a lot of land that has a lot of really dead grass because they gave up trying to take care of it ages and ages ago. There's also near the back of the property a secondary house, which is where the matriarch of the family, Gran, lives. It's her space. While she doesn't own the property, she does essentially have hold over the rest of the family of, I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it kind of attitude if necessary. But the house has an open foyer The dining room is just off to the left of the doors when you walk in. There's it's not a spiral staircase, but it kind of curves up along the side of the house. And it's not grand, but it's big and it's well kept.
Yeah, you enter that house with the beautiful foyer, and you're immediately assaulted by the voices of other people. This is a house that clearly has seen its better days, from the sense of, like, some of the carpets here are probably a little bit worn based on the fact that there's just so many people in the house. It's not that the family Titus' family by any means is bereft of money. Like, we'll just say his chain of resources is pretty good. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's his personal, obviously. It's more of the family's investments over the years. It's September, and so a lot of the food that they're probably cooking is going to be outside.
Yeah.
Or at least half, anyway. Beautiful grill space, beautiful back deck, lots of intricate stonework, obviously palm trees, probably somewhat of a limited green space, but there is still green space there. You see Titus in the kitchen with his mom. Hey.
Hey.
He goes over to the fridge and grabs a beer. You want something to drink?
Just water's good, or lemonade if we have it.
Yeah, there's lemonade.
I don't drink in front of his mother.
Okay. Any specific reason?
Oh, I'm already such an embarrassment. It's one less thing I have to worry about.
You get a text message on your phone.
I'll look at it.
Scroll it over and look at it. It's the Bondsman Authority here asking for an update on Joey Rossi.
And I will give a very brief text of lost track. We'll resume looking later. Because my bondsman does know that this Sunday dinner is a very real, regular thing in my life, and that generally speaking, I don't do as much, work during this time. Not unless it's more urgent, which right now it kind of isn't, because, Joey Rossi doesn't have life on the planet anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't really exist anymore. And that guilt probably weighs a little bit heavy around you still.
Yeah.
Titus's mom walks back out to the back patio. She says something over her shoulder like, I've got to get some of this stuff out to the grill. Leaves a nice, heavy, almost smothering weight of silence as Titus opens his beer and sets it on the counter. So how did it go last night?
I found the place where he was being kept, but he was gone by the time I got there.
Gone, huh?
Yeah. This happens from time to time, that the information just comes in too late and you miss your mark initially.
Sure. No, I'm sure you see all types of stuff out there. He takes a sip of his beer. So, my dad invited one of his friends over, just so you're aware. I know it's usually a family thing, but we're making an exception this time.
Okay. Is this somebody that I've met before? I've met a lot of your mom's and your dad's friends.
No, it's Stephanie Breyer. She does financial services, and with a lot of the shifts in the market and the pick up and put down of crypto and all sorts of stuff, my dad's just looking at options, just making sure that everything is going to stay as level as possible as things continue to get a little...
There's going to be a small grin that crosses my face, because Esther's kind of a stickler for keeping family-related things during family dinner, and essentially personal things and especially business dealings should not be part of the dinner conversation. She's very old-timey traditional that way. So I imagine that they're not going to be talking about these options during dinner, or your mom's going to have a coronary.
No. First of all, he lowers his voice a little bit. I don't think Dad particularly even wants to have this conversation now. It's sort of been pushed by something else, but what I understand, they want to make sure that they can jump on the market first thing tomorrow and get all this stuff done. And so after dinner, I'm sure there'll be some sort of step away and they'll have whatever private conversation they need to have. But it cannot happen at the dinner table.
No. Is Gran joining us tonight?
Yeah, she should be here. He picks up the bottle and gestures to the back deck. But I'm sure that we'll probably be eating outside anyway, so.
Okay.
I'm assuming you don't want to rehash anything from yesterday.
I don't think that there's going to be a big difference when they're all going to ask anyway, right?
Well, I mean, if you never change any of your answers, then there won't be any difference, right? Same old, same old.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely, Oliver and Adam, after your little meeting with Salvatore at Blackbeard Diner, where are the two of you heading to? It's Sunday afternoon. We'll say Sunday midday at this point.
Hey, you have a car?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can drive. Well, I mean, Salvatore mentioned that place I live, and honestly speaking, nobody out there is going to give two shits what we do, even if we would blow the place up and then burn it down. So, I mean, maybe not a terrible idea.
Yeah, I have nothing else going on today.
Yeah, it's my day off, so why not? Hop in. Out to the parking lot, a gray 89 Buick that's Bondo gray, and the passenger side door is a maroon.
Ah, a classic.
Yeah, well, it won't die, so, I see as though it's probably a curse I've picked up somewhere along the way.
Well, mine is in the impound lot, so you've got to step up on me.
Ugh. Tough luck. Of course, this is Vegas. I mean, the home tough luck. He turns over the rough-sounding engine and drives off to Echo Park.
So Echo Park is sort of the place that if you had to live, you'd probably look for someplace else. It doesn't get a lot of real great ratings locally. It is a trailer park. Most of them are singles. There are a couple of doubles. There are a lot of cars that are, we'll just say, in process that are around. Some are missing tires, some are missing bumpers. But if they're parked under, the awning, then technically, by Echo Park rules, then they can stay. And they're not, just another eyesore. Very sparse plants, lots of rock, lots of lava rock out here. Probably from the 70s and 80s.
Ah, lava rock.
And you managed to, put the Buick back towards your dad's trailer.
Hey, welcome. I used to have an apartment in town, but I had to take care of my dad's crap, and this just seemed cheaper and easier. So, come on in, tip over a pile of shit, and have a seat.
All right.
Adam comes in, drops his keys on the counter. You want a beer?
Yeah, I'll take a beer.
Grabs one out of the fridge, tosses it to him, grabs one for himself. cracks it on the countertop.
Well, I suppose we better look into these books and see what old Salvatore has to say about all of this.
Oh, and he takes a long draught of the beer and then sets it down. Sorry about the mess. Again, it was my dad's shit. So, but yeah, what are these books? What is this? So we each have the same copy. That'll be handy.
We can compare notes just like school.
Goody.
Hey, you mind if I light up a J?
Hey, go for it. Actually, probably he has, I would say Adam probably has some. He lights it and passes it over.
Salvatore's little bread book is a primer of sorts. But as the smoke sort of passes between the two of you, you get this almost auditory feeling, like maybe you hear Salvatore's voice. And you get a interesting little page or so of history. And he breaks some things down for you. And he sort of shows 3 sides of a story. On the one hand, you've got a group of mages that are locked into this real focused, compartmentalized, organized method. Process is super important for them, and control over what people think is important, because they fear what happens when thought gets out of control. And then you have this other group that wants to sort of crank things back to the old days, where you could go around with wizard staffs and zap dragons and stuff like that. And then you have this third group that is basically desperately trying to not get killed by the other two or pulled in or whatever. Make no mistake, some of these traditions, some of these lines of thinking, they have value. But the problem I had was that I kept getting sucked into their arguments. I was too busy trying to live my own life. The best way to start is to feel things out. Go back to a core thought you had when you were going through all of this awakening. Think about what you experienced. Try to see maybe the electricity running through the walls. Maybe feel the breeze. Maybe listen and see if you hear anybody around you talking but without moving their lips, you know? Everybody's got a different talent. Start as simple as possible. Think about how you perceive things. You got to open up.
Okay. Well, Oliver has a way of kind of meditating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually by playing solitaire.
Okay.
You know, trying to pick the odds are that you're going to get the right card. You're going to get, try to figure out what the odds are for each card that I put down.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull a deck of cards out of my pocket.
Okay. You take a deck of cards.
Yeah, and start, my meditation.
Okay. So as you go through this process of taking out the cards and beginning to play, what's the focus that Oliver's going to have? What is he attempting to do over and above just playing cards?
He's trying to focus on the odds.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about. Because there's a mathematical computation beneath everything. And every card that comes down changes the odds a little bit.
Sure. So here's what I want you to do.
I would like you to roll 2 dice. Roll your arete. And then the difficulty of this is going to be 4.
Okay, I got 1 success.
Okay. You're watching him, Adam. You're watching him deal cards. You sort of go through this process.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes sort of fascinating to watch him do this. And you watch him get into a rhythm of playing solitaire. You've seen 100 million people play solitaire, probably either electronically or in Life on Mars at one time or another. So you know how it goes. And you realize that at first, he doesn't really have a good set of cards to deal with. But as he walks his way through the solitaire game, the cards just seem to begin to fall in his favor. And one by one, he finishes out playing the game, and you're able to complete it and finish it. And what you get, Oliver, is something that is totally different from what Adam sees. So you don't see the hand getting better at all at first. What you begin to perceive is this notion that you can imagine the next card that you need as you go through the solitaire stacks, and the card that you need is the card which appears. It happens 1, 2, then 3 times, and it begins to unlock things, and you get excited, like genuinely excited, because you feel like you are having an influence over the card appearing, and you're not sure whether or not it's the weed talking or not, but it kind of blows your mind. So, Dante,
What's up?
I would like to get an idea post workout.
Mhm.
You're a man of calendars. You do things. One of the things that you do is you have a class with a couple of your sisters, and you go to ballet, clearly for flexibility and all sorts of benefits, which pay off when you go do these amazing shows. Walk us through what that class with your sisters is like.
So Dante's focus for ballet specifically is more about the translation of the artistry to what he's expected to do for the circus performances. I imagine they are much the same. But as you said, it's also a matter of poise and grace and strength and dedication, patience. So for Dante, it's always about learning to slow down. He has a bit of a hot streak that he can get on, and ballet forces him kind of into a quieter state. It's still difficult. It's still challenging, but it's not. The tension is internal. It's not. It's internalized. He's not like trying not to die. So the stakes are lower because he also isn't necessarily seeking. He's not like a prima ballerina. That's not his chosen profession. So he doesn't suffer from that kind of deliberately. He doesn't suffer from that kind of concern for fame and kind of that center of attention. He just wants to put the work in.
Okay, and then your sisters, they're performers as well, or they're doing this class with you for the calisthenics of it, or the time of it, or what's their piece?
One of them is very likely a cirque performer as well, and the other is probably. They're all older, so I imagine one is likely his oldest sister, and likely the next oldest would be the ones that would have had to have taken up performance. His younger siblings, well, not younger than him, but the ones that are slightly older than him, because there's 11 of them. The ones that are slightly older than him didn't necessarily take up performance art. The early dedication to the craft kind of faded as time, like linear time, progressed in the world. So Dante is kind of a rogue in that sense when it comes to kind of the ones that are in proximity to age of him are the ones that he lives with and basically takes care of, because they're a bunch of, I wouldn't call them shiftless layabouts. They just haven't figured their shit out yet.
Yeah, I guess that's all about perspective, right? So someone who has a very regimented daily schedule like Dante has, for someone who doesn't have as much on their schedule, they're going to seem a little, well, you've made yourself some free time. At least they could. I won't put that on you because we don't know that about you necessarily yet.
No, and Dante is no stranger to being, somewhat flighty. He gets lost in his own head and gets obsessed with doing certain things. And so sometimes things slip through the cracks. So the schedule is so important, especially if he wants to, pay rent and keep food on the table and keep, his sisters and everybody else happy.
Speaking of that sort of flightiness mentally, you are still catching up with the day, so to speak. So much so that the 1 p.m. ballet class is happening and you're at it, you've met it, but all of the intricate work in the gym that you were doing on sort of refining process chewed into your lunchtime.
Yeah, I figured it would. Well, there's always dinner. I can try to catch up for dinner. So I will. I feel like I can bear down and suffer through it. What sucks now is that I'm more aware of how hungry I am than I've ever been. But I will use that to fuel my ballet, much like the other starving ballerinas here are.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I wonder if during this process, this specific time spent with your sisters, if you're going to analyze them or yourself, or I can't imagine now that you've sort of unlocked this door of physiological sensory perceptions that you wouldn't put that to use.
No, I think it's going to be more of the same. So when it comes to training, Dante's approach is he doesn't really base anything on gut feeling or hand waviness. He just kind of bases everything on evidence. So his approach would be to, once again, assess himself here, his flexibility, his susceptibility to injury. He would look for places where there are, let's say, slowly encroaching injuries that he wouldn't see for weeks to come. The types of things that would, cause a spiral fracture that you only get when you land, even though it was in the making like a month ago. This is the time to really think about his flexibility and his durability, his bendiness, his ability to take a fall, all of those things.
I would like you to make an RT roll. We'll call this Life 1, just to sort of get a sense of things. And it's Diff 4, because it's coincidental. Nobody can see it.
Okay, I got 2 successes.
Okay. So for our listeners maybe who are not as honed in on Mage, I think the big thing here that we talk about with the types of magic that we'll do, some of it's coincidental, meaning that the reality itself doesn't really see it happening, and other people don't see Dante looking at his body or any of the other people around and sort of assessing them, because it's not an effect they can see happening. So that's that type of magic. When we get to the vulgar magic, that'll be a whole different conversation. But for now, 2 successes gives you insight. But it's not insight you were expecting. And I think the key word there is expecting, because your older sister's expecting.
I fall. I literally fall. Whatever I'm doing, I just fall.
When they come over, oh my gosh. You okay?
Yeah, I got distracted. I got way super distracted. I got so burdened with my thoughts.
Your old essentially screws her features up. Burdened.
I'm gonna get some water. Can I get you some water? You thirsty? I'll get you some water. You feeling okay?
Sure. I guess.
You look hungry.
Maybe. Yeah. I figured we'd eat after.
So the question that's going to come to mind when I feel something like that is like, can I tell how far along she is? I mean, I guess I find myself staring at my sister for a moment, at her tummy, asking if she's hungry.
It is a little strange to stare at someone else's stomach and ask if they're hungry. I guess I would ask you to go back on like an intelligence medicine roll.
Sure, I have medicine.
Yeah.
I'm not like a doctor, but we can do a little bit of that. So this is logic or not intelligence medicine, right?
Yeah.
That's a difficulty.
I'm going to say the difficulty is 6, given the information you have at your hands.
So 2 successes.
3 weeks.
So it's just, there's no way she can even really know. She wouldn't know.
No, but you know.
How much do I know about her personal life? I probably know who she's seeing, right?
Oh, sure.
So can I be relatively confident who this person is, or is there like an array?
I would say that she probably has 2 or 3 people that she sees.
I make a note of who they are. And I think about that while I go get water and the potential paths of each one of those threads of possibility while I try to take my eyes off of everyone, including myself, for a minute.
Sounds fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to step back to our trailer and I'm going to ask Adam if perhaps there's something that he'd like to investigate, expand his thoughts.
Adam has been watching Oliver play this game of solitaire. As he's watching Oliver, he takes a deep drag of this joint that they were passing between them and lets the feel mellow his mind and expand his consciousness outward. He remembers seeing the little motes in the alleyway that were floating in the air, and he starts to wonder if maybe that he was seeing something that was actually in the air, but was too small for him to see with his own eyes. Bacteria, bugs.
Maybe.
So he goes out on the front stoop and kind of just casts around, looking around at the various animals and trees and people that are sitting in their trailers.
Yes, the real animals.
Just mellows his mind, enjoys the effects on his brain, and becomes one with the life essence around him. Not to sound too hippie, his mom was more like that than anything, but she had some decent advice.
Sure. Why don't you roll your Arete? And we'll say it's difficulty 4 as a sensory exercise.
2 successes.
Okay. You see it from a ton of different angles now. You see yourself. It's almost like a carousel. Every couple of seconds, you see yourself from a different space. You're staying exactly still. You are that fixed point in existence.
While my mind has started to grasp this, how far away, and not even ballpark, how far away is my work? How far away is the club from here?
I think it's probably a couple of miles.
Okay, so 3.94 miles.
Yeah, something to the effect.
Okay. I'm feeling the, as you said, the angles, the spaces, and the distances.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to apply it to things he knows, and of course he's a toddler, in this case.
Sure. So you stretch those perceptions out a little bit. You still stay in the rough immediate area, but you can see around the back of your trailer now. It's strange. It's almost like being able to perceive what's on the other side of walls, even though you're not there. Well, not fully there.
Interesting. This would have been so handy inside the big house.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have never gotten jumped.
I would have about 6 less scars.
It isn't exactly easy on your brain, though. You can feel your brain sort of not cook so much, but just there's just a dull ache now after you eventually come back to center.
I imagine a spinning vertigo.
Oh, yeah. Not intense by any means, but when you write your perceptions and sort of eventually sit back up on the stoop and look out over Echo Park, 3 dimensions almost feels like 2 dimensions now. Like, there's stuff going on behind you. You're certain of it because moments ago you saw what was going on behind you. And everything here seems a little
flat,
bland, a little sort of wallpapery,
flat, washed out.
It's definitely not as vivid as that perception you had because there was so much detail there. All the different geometry that you could see from that specific angle. The trailer to your immediate, left, all of their, the tanks that they keep for, grilling on their barbecue, the gas, the garbage cans, the broken down, yet still somehow worthy to be worked on Chevy truck that they keep in the gravel driveway. And then all the little things too, the little bumpy details of like how rusty the bed is and how many old style cans are in the back of it. And there's just a wealth of information that when you set up and sort of close that perception down, you realize you don't get anymore.
That's going to take some getting used to. He heads back inside to the trailer to make sure that Oliver's not foaming at the mouth and stroking out on his couch or something.
Oliver seems to be okay for the most part. He's still playing cards. He's shuffling decks.
Hey man, you dead?
No, I'm here.
Cool. So I think I had it work. Somewhat. Now I have a splitting headache and I kind of want to hork a little. Instead, I'm going to have a sandwich and another beer. And that's exactly what Adam does.
Fair enough. Anything stretch? Any perceptions you're continuing to stretch, Oliver?
I think he's going to try to. I'm going to try to see what I can sense around me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In what way? Like, what are you trying to perceive? Something like by hearing it or seeing it or smelling it? You have your main perceptions, your main 5 perceptions. You could always lick the side of the trailer. I'm sure that would give you something.
Although actually give me something. I don't know. It's more like I want to see if I can sense anything.
Okay.
Not even necessarily a specific sense as much as try to feel what's around me.
Okay. So to do this, are you going to like put your hands on things, or are you going to sit in the chair and try to, Jedi force pull something towards you? Or
I think he's gonna. I'm going to try to sit in the chair and do that whole like sensing the force around me. 'Cause that's all I got to go with.
Sure.
Like, Jedi, sure,
Yeah. It's okay. We probably won't get sued for saying Jedi. Okay. So, yeah, Oliver, when you come back in and you're making a sandwich, don't look too close to that lunch meat. You notice that Oliver is sitting in a chair. Maybe he's a little baked. You're not sure. This is the first time you guys have sort of smoked together, so you don't know his tolerances. But he seems definitely focused on something, even if it's just seeing the things around him. He's almost sitting in this yoga pose, not a full-on, actual yoga pose like you've seen your mom do, but you're not sure what he's up to.
Well, Adam has become acquainted with meditation over the years. Actually, he's quite good at it. It was one of his saving graces in prison. So actually taking a cue from Oliver, he's going to sit down in his own comfortable space, not across from Oliver or anything that would make it awkward, but in his own comfortable space, and also slow his breathing, slow his body rate, and center himself. Because if nothing else, the last couple of days have definitely lifted his feet off the ground, and some centering and grounding is not a terrible thing.
Oliver, I'm going to have you roll Arate for me, difficulty 4, as you go through this process.
2 successes.
Okay. Remember, on Arate rolls, if it rolls a 10, you can re-roll it.
Right. Yeah.
You do get a sense in this room of something. It actually is bolstered by Adam coming into the room and sitting down. You begin to feel the heat of the day. As it's now, even though it's September, it's now reaching 1 o'clock. And the little air conditioning unit that this trailer has is only so strong. So you start getting a real sense of the heat. You feel this additional sensory perception take over in you. It sort of tingles, like your whole body tingles. And you start seeing and sensing waves of heat coming off you, coming off Adam, coming off different portions of the windows. And there's a noticeable anima, these heat waves that come off everything in here. And you look down at your hand and it's red. And the external area is orange and then green and bleeds off eventually into a super light green to eventually darken to blue. So does Adam's body. It feels like you're watching the movie Predator.
Oh, this is so trippy.
Yeah, Sherry warned me that this stuff was really good, so we should probably go light on smoking another one.
It changes over time. When Adam talks to you, you see the heat come out of his mouth as he talks. You see sort of the open close and the heat inside his body. And watching him eat a sandwich is just something you can't continue to do.
I think I can actually see the heat.
See heat, huh?
Yeah.
Thought I could taste music one time, but that was actually just a really good concert.
Hold my hands up and I look at my hands and
So you can he writes a word, Adam writes his name in the air with the heat from his finger, like he was writing with a sparkler.
I can see it.
That will be incredibly useful, don't you think?
Oh, well, yeah, probably. I don't know when, but I mean, I'm not going to be chasing down Arnold Schwarzenegger in the jungles.
I'll leave the two of you there for a moment. I'm going to return to a dinner party. Kayleigh, Gran arrives at dinner. Now, this is a religious dinner on Sunday, which means it's roughly 2 o'clock, give or take, because Gran goes to bed early. And she is, as expected, immediately into the matriarch role. She comes over, gives you a nod and a hello. She has that, thin-faced, almond-shaped eyes. Perhaps there's a twinkle of mischief there. Who knows? And she pats you sort of on the top of your hand. I hope you're doing well.
Hello, Gran. And it's about the same as it is every week.
Well, you just remember that you make your own choices and your own expectations for yourself. Don't let these busybodies tell you what to do. She sort of shakes a crooked finger at some of them.
No, I'm pretty sure that they would have had me married off and on baby number 2 by now if I had, huh?
2? Huh. Well, they do like a big family here. But it might be a good idea to figure out what path you're going to walk. Titus isn't, he's a little tired, I think.
I think the whole family's tired, Gran.
It's been some difficult years. COVID and everything else thereafter. And we lost friends, and now this stock market business is another thing. But enough of this. What have you been, what are you getting up to? Chasing criminals through Las Vegas still?
Every day, Gran. I had one that I lost track of last night, and of course I left. I tried to ties, not always. He didn't want to stay after I got the message, and I was very happy to put it down, leave it alone until after we had eaten and had some time together, but that's a hit and miss. Sometimes he's okay with that, and sometimes he's not, and last night was one of the times he wasn't. And the person that I was set to find, I got the information too late, so by the time that I went knocking, he was already gone.
Okay, Allie. I think you tread a little too far for my storyteller ear.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
You are a liar.
Big fat liar.
You are choosing to lie to the matriarch of the family, who has, well, we'll just say a few decades more of experience listening to tall tales than you do.
Yeah.
So you are going to make me a charisma subterfuge roll to see if you can lie your butt off.
Oh, I don't have either of those skills really good.
Well, you should have charisma.
Yeah, I do. Subterfuge, what's that?
Oh, you know what? Stop the presses. I'm going to call you on your bullshit. So you have a flaw.
Yeah, I sure do.
That flaw is that you're a horrible liar.
I am a horrible liar.
So here's what you're going to do. You're going to roll willpower.
Oh, I can do that.
And
that's way more dice.
It is, but I'm going to need 3 successes for you to just lie bald-faced to Gran, because it's hard for you to lie. You don't like lying to people. And now this wonderful old woman you're trying to spin a yarn with.
Especially since, really, she's my favorite member of the family.
Now, why would you lie to a favorite member of this family?
Because how am I supposed to explain that I lit someone on fire with forces I don't understand?
I don't know, but you should have thought about that before you opened your mouth.
What difficulty am I rolling for?
Well, standard mage difficulty is, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
That's not fair. I only got 2 successes. I hate it.
Life's not fair. Welcome to the world of darkness.
Yeah, I know.
So you begin this sort of walk about how you weren't able to do this, and you got there and it was too late. And the The story wraps up with you, and you finally look back at Gran, and she is giving you the I don't believe your bullshit look. And normally, I would let most players figure out where to go from here. You, however, given your flaw, you will be telling Gran the truth because you're a horrible liar.
Yeah.
She looks at you. Why would you do that? That's not true.
It makes more sense than what actually happened.
What happened?
Can we talk about it after dinner?
Sure. We can talk about it after dinner. She looks disappointed.
Yeah.
She steps away from you towards the dinner table, where you eventually join Titus and the rest of the clan, so to speak, at the table. And we'll hop back over to someone who is trying to get refreshments for their sister. Dante, you finally get hold of these waters.
I took my sweet ass time. Probably did a bunch of pacing. Fuck. Okay, well, she doesn't. It's just a few weeks. Anything could happen in a couple weeks. I mean, she has plenty of time. Yeah, she has plenty of time. Everything's fine. So I'm gonna hustle back and present them with waters and a big smile. All right, back to Bendy.
Mariana takes the water. Yeah. I definitely need this water.
Hey, you still seeing that guy? You were seeing him a few weeks ago. You went out with somebody, right? What was his name?
Jaime.
Jaime. Do we like Jaime? I look at my older sister. Do we like Jaime?
Your older sister has a mask on, and all it says is shade.
It's a work in progress, right? I mean, it's everything will be fine.
Your older sister says, I don't particularly like the way he makes his money.
What do you mean?
Mariana waves her off. He drives a nice car. He always has money to take me out. I'm not here to ask any questions. He works in a mechanic shop.
Okay.
You get the face from your older sister.
Well, I know, you know, we don't all necessarily have to meet him, but at some point he's going to meet all of us. So
maybe, Mariana says. I don't know. We'll see how things go.
Okay. Well, just you know, be careful.
Careful? Who are you? She sort of prods you with the water bottle.
Look,
be careful.
Safety first, always. Okay.
Safety first. She nods.
What time? I look at my watch. What time is it?
Oh my gosh! You look at your watch. It can't be that late already. Yeah, it is. It's time to go.
All right. Look, if we're gonna get anything to eat tonight, or if I'm gonna get anything to eat tonight before work, I gotta bail. I know you all are. If you all aren't wrapped up, I mean, I can hop a bus or something. But
yeah, go ahead. We'll be here. Mariana says.
Okay. So here's the hard part about, like, there's a part of me that's like, I don't generally pry into the older sisters that don't live with me. I don't really pry into their stuff because it's assumed that they're responsible individuals. That's kind of the story that everybody tells everybody.
Sure.
This doesn't mean it's necessarily true. That's the story. But I'm really concerned about not what Lucia thinks, right? Not the oldest one, but what Mariana thinks really about, because she said she doesn't ask questions. I find that hard to believe. I feel like she knows a lot more than she's letting on. And I don't want to ask her, but I do.
Okay.
So I kind of just want to know really bad.
I think you should roll Arte.
I think I should roll Arate. Because I'm greatly concerned.
Yeah.
What's my sister's willpower? I'm so sorry.
We'll say 6.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
Okay. You look at her very intently when she talks about just go ahead and take a bus. And You sort of stop there mid progress there of moving or getting a bag or like getting your stuff, and you sort of hone in on her, and you begin hearing these little burbling voices in the back of your head, and you realize in short order that it's Mariana's voice. I don't know what I'm going to do. This keeps coming up. This keeps bringing up the gang thing, and I don't know what to do about it. I've asked Timmy to leave a bunch of times because I think we could have something really great, and you get like a bucket load of just anxious thoughts.
Oh God.
And you realize it's like sort of opening a door that you didn't want to open, but that you do open. And imagine getting someone else's unfiltered anxiety thoughts thrust on you. Like, Jaime has a couple of brothers. They're in prison. Jaime has been a part of the North Vegas gang for 10 years. And he's got tattoos all over him. Oh, God, that's Jaime. That's him naked.
Whoa,
of course,
whoa.
There's an image.
I'm running. Physically, I'm in a hurry. I run. I just run away. I just run away.
Okay.
I know shutting my eyes doesn't work. Like, that's the problem.
No.
So I'm like holding my face and running away.
You hear Mariana's voice again. Oh, Dante, are you okay? You hear it audibly, and then like you hear it in your head.
I'm just running behind.
Okay,
Sorry, I gotta go.
Gotta
go. Fuck, I gotta go. It's gonna be so naked, what?
You run all the way to dinner. Okay. So back at the trailer then. Are the two of you engaging in any more chicanery or tomfoolery before you figure out what the hell you're going to do tonight? I mean, he drove you back, Oliver, so...
I either have to get another Uber or see if I can get him to drive me back to my apartment.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I can give you a ride, man. That's nothing.
Hey,
come on.
Thanks.
Yeah. Once again, fire up the gray beast and drive its clattery, junky self into town.
Yeah, you head back towards town. You head back towards Oliver's place. You park. It's an apartment complex, like many in the Las Vegas area, which are basically like little more than 500 to 600 square feet. They have a balcony. It's a rough studio apartment. That sort of thing. Very common in this space.
All right, man. Well, here you go. And, hey, here's my number. Just give me a call whenever, man.
Yeah. Here's my number, and
thanks.
Get together and go over this again.
Yeah, and he said next Sunday. So if nothing else, I'll see you. I'll see you at the cafe.
Yeah. See you later.
Later. Adam drives off, stops and gets a burger.
Okay. You stop. You get a burger. You become intently aware of the protein quality of the meat that you're eating. It does not spark joy.
No. Ugh. And probably about 4 bites in, he just wraps the rest of it and tosses it in a garbage can.
Wow, there's a lot of sugar in these fries.
Yeah. God, I guess I get to eat healthier too. Yeah.
For you, Oliver, a strange day gets a little stranger. You have a rent reminder on your door. You're starting to see like different layers of different tape where things have been posted here. And you pop into your apartment just as, you're starting to catch sight of the superintendent like walking the halls.
Nope. real quiet, like lock the door.
So, Kayleigh, you get your moment or two with Gran. You see a couple things, though, before the cookout and the dinner ends. You see this financial advisor that they'd spoken to. You get introduced to her, actually. Her name is Stephanie Breyer. She works with financial services through a group called HTO. You've never heard of them before.
Okay.
She seems genial, nice, well put together. You don't really get like a CV on her by any means, but Titus's dad seems to be taken very much with her financial advice, which of course they don't get into at the table. His father and Stephanie adjourn to the library because of course this place has a library. It's really an office. People call it the library, but functionally it's an office with a bunch of bookshelves in it. Gran heads outside to sit by the pool, and she gestures for you to come with.
And I'll go and I'll sit next to her. We're probably on the bench that's right next to the pool rather than the pool chairs, which are already hard enough to get in and out of.
She needs a little bit sturdier of a spot at her age. So I want to know what was so important that you had to lie to me about this.
2 men are dead, Gran.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And
Did you kill them? She sort of says flippantly.
I think so.
Her face contorts in a strange fashion. You think so?
See, and this is why I have to tell this story and convince myself this is the story, because it's not gonna... This might be where I should go back to church.
You had an opportunity for confession. Is that what you're talking about?
More like an exorcism?
I'm confused.
Yeah, me too. I found the guy who jumped bail. And I found where he was, and I found who was hiding him. And I got hurt. Pretty bad. And I know I don't look it. But I was on the floor of a auto body shop on the far end of town. And there was a bright light and cracking sound, and they were up in smoke. They were on fire, and then they were gone. And there was someone else there.
Who?
I don't know. Whoever it was told me that I could just refer to them as Mr. B. And whoever was gone by the time that things sank in.
Well, I can tell you two things. You are a horrid liar. And I think maybe the stress of running through the streets of Las Vegas chasing these bail jumpers is, I think it's getting to you. I feel like you're losing control. People don't just people don't just explode. Or whatever it is that happens. Set on fire? I don't know. She seems genuinely distressed.
But I don't think going to confession probably wasn't going to do me any good, because what's the father going to do besides think that I'm crazy, like I'm pretty sure you do? What?
You've been coming to church on and off for how long now?
Oh, my whole life.
You should know. What's the Father going to do? The Father listens. He intercedes. That is his job.
Yeah, but
He's there to help you absolve these things.
Yeah, but Gran, you're less religious than I am. How much do you actually believe?
I don't know. I think God is bigger than a book. I think God is bigger than a building. But if you don't use either, then you don't know.
You should have been at church earlier.
Why?
Well, the service wasn't boring for the first time in a long time.
Well, maybe that's a sign. Maybe you need to go back. Maybe you're getting something fun. I tried for a long time.
That's why you don't go anymore. I know.
I don't go because they lied to me. They hid the truth. She sort of points oddly to the left. The father before this one. I stopped believing. But that's me. That's my road. I certainly didn't see anybody burst into flames. She sort of puts her arms out and makes this weird gesture.
No, but I'm also pretty sure that you've never been shot in the stomach and then ended up being fine.
I've never been shot, period.
Yeah, that's true. I'm probably the only member of this family who's been shot.
Yeah, probably. Well, as crazy as that truth sounds, at least it's more believable than the he got away. No one's going to believe that. Don't tell people that.
It has happened before, just not hasn't happened for a while.
She shakes her head. You have to figure out what you're going to do. And that's a lot harder than it sounds.
I don't think Ty's gonna be okay if he actually knows what the real story is. I'm pretty sure he would want to have me committed.
Well, I need to lie down.
Do you want me to walk back over with you?
Yes, child, please. She stands up.
And I'll loop her arm through mine and I'll help get her back over to the guest house.
So Dante, Sunday night for you post-dinner is a special time.
It is.
It's a performative time.
Yeah. After I wrap up dinner, I'm gonna go knock on Calliope's door. She's probably one of the only ones that has a door. And I will knock and say, Calliope, my queen at the stage. Can I talk to you for a second?
Her door sort of half opens, and you see sort of this curly mop top hair that's gone through a couple iterations of coloring, and her trusty phone poke out through the door. Yeah.
So, I hate to do this to you again, but Estella's out again, and I don't have time to track her down and drag her away from whatever table or machine she's glued to. So, can you please, pretty please, make sure that Miguel gets to bed on time and does his reading?
Big sigh.
Come on. I know you have class tomorrow. We just got to get it done. I'll track down Estella after work, and I will bring her straight home.
She has to start taking care of that kid.
If you help me out, I'll get you and your whole little squealing drama squad VIP tickets. Late show.
Okay, I can hear you. Sure, fine, I'll take care of it.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I kind of push into the door just to give her a hug, and then I gotta go. Remember, 9:30, no snacks.
9:30, no snacks. I got it. Don't have too much fun.
Yeah, and then I go to work. Yeah, Dante's preparation for his night work at the Rio is no less thorough than his other pursuits.
Certainly. It is a different pursuit, however.
Yes.
At the Rio. And so you probably prepare slightly differently than you would.
Yeah. He treats his job with the same level of professional respect and dedication to the art of performance. He shows up early, checks the stage surface and lighting so he knows where to stand. sends Sophia up the curtain where she can hang out on a catwalk or find a pest worth eating while I work. And the same way that Dante meticulously applies makeup for the circus, he checks his grooming, oils himself, applies a bit of body makeup to emphasize all the important pieces for the crowd, and triple checks his costume for wear and damage. And then he starts priming himself for the stage. So it's like a brisk rounds of burpees, push-ups, isometric abdominal holds to get the separation showing, and being very careful not to muss his hair.
Yep, that sounds about right. So when you take the stage in your outfit at the Rio, what's that look like?
It is a pair of extremely tight black shorts, a pair of white cuffs on either hand, and a bow tie.
Wonderful. You take the stage looking your best for a night many in the crowd will never forget. And so I think that's a wonderful place for us to end, with Dante on stage and the music pumping and many, many in the crowd enjoying the fruits of his hard labor. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Mage the Ascension, our Mage Ascension Chronicle, The Ascension of Babylon. We look forward to the next episodes as our newly minted, awakened mages continue to find out more and more about themselves. Thank you, and good night.